in the Vanguard. You have Sanusi and Peterside telling the federal government, don't just reform, cut wastes. That is what they're saying this morning, but this is not the first time we're hearing statements like this. But then is the government doing enough to cut waste? On the people's side, you're saying the people will face some form of pain, but no pain, no gain. That's what people do say. But then you still see the lifestyle and the convoys and the likes of those who are in government. And you wonder, are they truly going full speed about this reform? Are they doing all they possibly can to ensure that this reform is actualized? I'm starting with you on that.
Well, interesting. I think is a right way to go. Sanusi and Peterside's advice in terms of the cutting of waste. Yes, we should see government convoys reduced. We should see some of these expenses that the ones we see, we should see them cut. And there are those ones that we don't even see. There are so much waste within government circles that we don't see. I mean, if you go into the ministries today, I'm talking of the federal ministries, and I know it happens at state levels too. You see, take a look at their budgets, and you see a number of items that are repeated on a yearly basis. Every other year you have computers, every other year you have furniture, every other year you have all of those things that ordinarily you would expect that they are things that should serve at least for the next 3, 4, 5 years. But they keep repeating these things, and at the end of the day, this money you will find out goes to somewhere else, not actually serving the purpose it's supposed to serve. Yeah. And most of the time, there isn't this accountability. I remember there was this time I joined the civil service. Civil service, they have ways of having all their equipment, desk, tables, and all of that. They are all serialized and tagged, such that you can go into the inventory and take account of what you have. In each of the offices, there are what you call a kind of a schedule of what items are in that office. And if anything is missing, whoever is there will be questioned. But today, I don't think that is the case. And these are the areas I think that we should be looking at. How do we cut waste? Beyond the ones we are seeing on the politicians, even within the system, the civil service and the bureaucracy, there are a lot of waste in this thing.
I need to turn to you, Ojasope, on this. 48 ministers, a little too much. That is what the stories also say. What do you make of the call for reforms or the moves towards reform without necessarily cutting waste? I mean, over and over, we've talked about how much the National Assembly has been, scheduling for itself, for instance, or projects they say they are carrying out and the likes. What do you make of the assessment? That is Sanusi and Peterside.
I agree with Sanusi and Peterside. I also agree with my colleague here. We need to cut this, the excesses. Is annoying. And when you keep telling the people that there is no money, and they see the way you live, then it becomes unbelievable, the excuses you give. So they need to cut the excesses. It's not just about the convoy, like he said. There are other things, even the way they live, even when you look at the budgets, some of the things, apart from the furnitures and all these things, consumables, you still look at it as how does this fall into the priorities for now, where you're saying that there are austerity measures, there are no money for basic things, even the ASU is threatening, Association of Resident Doctors threatening, all this here and there threatening, and what will take care of them? You look at just one item in the budget, maybe the State House budget, for instance, will just take care of it. Why can't this wait to take care of more pressing issues? So you see that they are not really prioritizing, the welfare of the people ahead of some of these things that they are, that will make life comfortable for them. And you want Nigerians to sacrifice. That's where the real issue is. You are telling the people to pray. You're telling the people to make more sacrifices, while those in government are not taking any measure to sacrifice more, or at least make it obvious to people that, look, we are not asking you to do what we are not willing to do.
Is there any truth to even the idea? I mean, maybe that should have been the first question, that they need to cut down the cost of governance if we need to see reform. Because, they just, would I say, a small population of Nigerians, maybe that would not have that much impact. Whatever it is they're consuming does not have much impact in terms of the overall for the Nigerian people. Maybe that is why they're continuing with the status quo.
For me, it's not about the impact or the quantum of the amount you are cutting in terms of the waste cutting. It's about the message you are sending to the Nigerian people. Because if I see you as my leader living large, and you tell me that the budget is small, you tell me that you're not getting enough fund, but you are living large, that does not speak to me. That does not convey a good message to me. So I think what we should be doing is, what are the message we are conveying to the Nigerian people? If you are telling Nigerian people that we have scarce resources, then we should see it in your own way of life. We should see it in your convoy. We should see it in your budget. You have, maybe go to all of these states. You see them making provision for cutleries on a yearly basis. Cutleries on a yearly basis. You see them making provision for computers, laptops every other year, and you start to wonder. Some of these items might even occur again and again. And then how do you justify that compared to an average Nigerian who you are telling that, well, there isn't enough money, so let us be patient and all of that, and you are having all of this money being spent. So for me, it's about the message you are sending to the Nigerian people, and just not the Nigerian people, even the international community where you are going to take loans and all of that. You say you don't have money, you are poor, you are this, but we see the way you live, we see the convoy you ride in. So how do we justify that? So for me, I think these are the things that the kind of message we pass across.
So the optics, that's why they should do this. Not because how much they're spending is having a direct impact
not
on
in
the
the
economy.
quantum of the amount of money, really. Because if you look at the amount of money, as in what affects the those in office now. If you look at the amount of money, you might be saying it's not something much per se. And apart from that, you can also look at the allowances and all of that. But what about the message you are sending to me as a Nigerian?
Ojasope thinks the money is much.
The money is more too. The money is more too, because when you look at what has been budgeted for, maybe feeding, there was a particular year in Aso Rock, the budget for feeding alone was serious debate nationwide.
Yeah,
so
we were talking about Gucci rice.
You understand?
Yes.
So the money is much too, but like he said, psychologically, that's how you pass across the message rightly to the people when they see the modest way the leaders are living. But when the leaders in Nigeria, they are not even riding on the roads again. They are all flying. And Nigerians are suffering because of bad roads. You are passing a different message to us.
Of course, Edwin is saying that the reforms is gradually reaching poor Nigerians, and Nigerians are feeling the impact of the reforms. Of course, he also talked about accountability tied to that. 15 million households in Nigeria would also be benefited as they will be rolling out packages for them. You're laughing about this.
Is it not laughable?
Is it not true?
I don't think it's true. It's not.
The poor Nigerians are not feeling the impact of the reforms.
Just go on the street and find out. Because if you say 15 million Nigerians or 15 million households, so invariably you are assuming each household will have at least maybe about 3. So let's say about 60 million Nigerians should have at least had. So if you say 60 million Nigerians, that means if you go on the street, if you pick 10 people, at least you have 3. You should have at least 3 people that should be able to testify that, look, I've had this thing, even if I've not experienced it. Somebody close to me collected. Let's do that. Let's go on the street and find out.
Well, what's the average household in Nigeria? Would that be 3 or 4, for instance? The average
4.
household?
The average house is actually 4. But let's even assume it's even 3.
So that'll be about 60 million Nigerians if one does a quick math concerning that.
Exactly.
And 60 million Nigerians in about 200 million. Will that be 1 in... Okay, that will be...
About 1 in 4.
1 in 4 Nigerians, thereabout, should be able to say they have received, if it's a 25,000 naira. What do you make of this assertion?
Well, I think I've had 1 or 2 people who have benefited from this. Yes.
The 1 in 4.
Yes,
right.
I have in my area. I'm talking of Akinyele and all of that. But you see, the thing is this: for me, when you are doing such a thing, there must be transparency. I can understand what Ojasope is saying in terms of he doesn't believe this is happening because most likely he has not heard of any of such things. No. But the truth about it is that people are benefiting and some people are acknowledging it. What I expect the government